Well, leave it to Nintendo to not only reveal the Switch gameplay for Sonic Frontiers, but also show off new gameplay elements. What wild times we live in. Even though we only saw about a minute of gameplay in the latest Nintendo Direct Mini, it was still packed with interesting details. So let's bust out the analysis machine to see what we can find. Of course, the most important element from this gameplay is the fact that it's running on Nintendo Switch hardware, and it looks pretty darn good all things considered. Naturally, it's displayed at a lower resolution with what looks like a 30 FPS cap, and the footage shown ran pretty stable even during combat in the rain. Though there does seem to be frame pacing issues in these two shots. There is also noticeable pop-in in some scenes where objects off in the distance appear once Sonic gets close enough to them, although that pop-in was also prevalent in the IGN footage, presumably running on a development PC. Fact is, the game is still subject to change until it officially comes out. Maybe they'll improve optimization by then, we'll see. Though the Switch port already looks impressive so far. The visual style remains intact, the frame rate is stable, and even particle effects like rain look good. As you can see in this side by side, it stacks up pretty well to the 4K footage we've seen this month. It's likely they might have cherry-picked sections of the game that run well on Switch, but we'll see if that's true come release day. Now let's take a look at the contents of the trailer itself. It starts off with some typical gameplay of Sonic running through the Starfall Islands, but what's important to note here is that Sonic doesn't seem to be magnetized to the surfaces like he appeared to be in previous footage. This was pointed out by Corey on Twitter. He's actually using momentum to run up this surface. He even slows down near the top as if he's losing it. If Sonic has actual momentum in Frontiers, that would make for some interesting traversal and make lots of fans happy who were initially concerned at the lack of proper momentum physics. But what's this? A structure with the Eggman logo on it? We've seen structures like this in previous gameplay videos, but never this close. This is also the only piece of evidence that Dr. Eggman will play some part in the story, as it was previously implied that Sonic would be facing a new threat. Maybe Eggman will be an accomplice this time around? Personally, I'm hoping these structures will serve as home bases to take a breather and drink some monster energy. This next shot shows Sonic running past some mysterious creatures. Sega PR said today that Sonic would be able to interact with citizens of the Starfall Islands, so maybe that's who these are? Either that or their wildlife. We did see them before in the IGN footage, but now we can't help but wonder if we'll be able to speak to them. Sega PR also confirmed the names of some of the enemies in Frontiers, like these types, simply called soldiers, getting homing attacked to oblivion. Then Sonic fights another enemy, a boss called Ninja. Later he pulls off a sick counter move on a banger and unleashes a speedy air attack on a bubble. We've already seen plenty of combat before though, what we haven't seen is the new special zone called Cyberspace. This scene right here reveals that these towers we've been seeing since the game's initial reveal are gates that lead to cyberspace levels that feature traditional, fast-paced, speed-running action platforming. Judging by the very brief snippet of gameplay we got of Cyberspace, these levels look akin to the Boost Formula 3D Sonic games like Unleashed and Generations. One level in particular looks modeled after Green Hill Zone, with its signature green grass, blocky terrain, and Moto Bug enemies. The other level looks to be inspired by the many city-based stages from the Sonic Adventure series, like Radical Highway or City Escape. And wow, there are quite a lot of highways here. Sega PR released some screenshots of these cyberspace levels, and Green Hill Zone looks to take some assets from Sonic Generations and Forces, as noted by the Tikis. The highway level screenshot shows us some signs in it, but not in any recognizable real-world language. In fact, it's the same language shown in the very first teaser for Sonic Frontiers from last year. This must be the language of the ancient civilization that inhabited the Starfall Islands, the Coco. Or is this the language of the mysterious villains in the game? Only time will tell. After the cyberspace levels, Sonic gets a key that will allow him to continue the story. Before the trailer concludes, a montage plays of Sonic running and fighting, ending with a brief pre-rendered cutscene of him getting knocked back and looking up at a gigantic foe with a new character on the left. This young girl is named Sage, and she cautions the Sonic throughout the game to leave the Starfall Islands despite his mission to save Amy and Tails. Sage sounds like she could be a friend or foe, but I'm willing to bet she's more of a friend working under the villain of this story, as she's trying to help Sonic by telling him to leave, because only she knows the dangers that await him on these islands. But that's all we got to see of the Sonic Frontiers Switch port from today's Nintendo Direct, as well as some new features like the cyberspace levels. Did you find anything that we might have missed in this analysis? Let us know in the comments below, and check out the videos on the right for more topics you might be interested in. Until next time, everyone, bye.